The Galactic Council watched the stars from their great chamber. The chamber was older than most civilizations. Its walls were carved with symbols of ancient victories, long alliances, and fallen empires. Tall windows opened to the black sea of space, where thousands of stars burned quietly. For thousands of years, the galaxy followed one rule: no species enters human space. The rule was not written in law. It was written in fear. Human space sat on the outer edge of the mapped galaxy, a wide, dark region filled with empty markers and warning symbols. Council records described it with only 3 words: empty, unimportant, primitive. Humans were classified as a young species, loud, divided, violent among themselves. According to the Council, they never left their home world in any serious way. Their early probes vanished, their signals faded, and so the galaxy moved on, until today. A quiet alarm sounded in the chamber. At first, no one noticed. The Council was used to false alerts, small asteroids, drifting debris, broken sensors, but this alarm did not stop. It grew louder, sharper. A large holographic map appeared above the center of the chamber. Human space was highlighted, and it was no longer empty. Small points of light appeared inside the region. Then more. Then dozens. Then hundreds. A senior observer leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "That's impossible," he said. "There is nothing there." The sensors disagreed. Energy readings spiked across the map, not weak signals. Not random noise. Military-level power. The lights moved in organized patterns, clean lines, precise spacing, like fleets. A council commander spoke with forced calm. "Confirm the readings." The sensors confirmed. Again and again. The chamber grew tense. Human space was supposed to be quiet. Humans were supposed to be weak. Humans were supposed to be irrelevant. Yet the data now showed massive energy surges far beyond civilian technology. The shapes forming on the display were too large to be cargo ships, too armored to be explorers. They were warship-sized shadows. Some appeared for only seconds before vanishing. Others flickered in and out of detection. One council member whispered, "Stealth?" Another shook his head. No known stealth works like that. The lights did not behave like alien ships. They behaved like something that wanted to be seen only when it chose. A junior analyst stood slowly from her station. Her hands trembled slightly. "There's something else," she said. The room turned toward her. She hesitated, then spoke. "This data? It matches older records." The chamber went still. "Older records?" A council elder asked. "Yes," she replied. "Suppressed records." She pulled up another layer of data. Old sensor logs, archived signals, redacted files, the same energy signatures, the same movement patterns from centuries ago. Her voice dropped to a whisper. This data was erased before. No one spoke. They all understood what that meant. The Galactic Council had erased it. Long ago, when humans first reached beyond their planet, the Council noticed. Human probes traveled farther than expected. Their ships lasted longer than predicted. Their technology improved too fast. Humans adapted. They always adapted. The Council made a decision then. They hid the truth. They labeled human space as empty. They blocked trade routes. They removed records. They told the galaxy that humans were nothing more than a noisy, divided species trapped on a single world. And for centuries, the lie worked. Until now. A senior counselor spoke, his voice tight. "If this data is real, then humans have been active the entire time." "Not active," another replied. "Preparing." The lights on the map shifted again. This time the movement was different. The fleets were no longer drifting. They were aligning, forming patterns, forming routes. A military tactician studied the display and felt a cold weight in his chest. "These are not patrols," he said. "They are deployment formations." A council leader slammed a hand onto the table. "Send a probe. Now." The probe was launched within seconds. It entered human space and vanished. No explosion. No signal loss. It simply disappeared. Another probe was sent. Gone. Then a third. Gone. The chamber filled with uneasy silence. The stars outside the windows looked the same as always. Calm, beautiful, unchanged, but everyone in the room felt it. The silence was wrong. Human space was not quiet because it was empty. It was quiet because something was watching. A council archivist finally spoke the thought none of them wanted to say. What if humans know we lied? No one answered. Because deep inside they already knew the truth. Humans always noticed patterns. Humans always remembered, and humans never moved without a reason. As if in response to that thought, the holographic map changed one final time. A new signal appeared, not a message, not a transmission. Just a single marker, human-made, active, and facing inward, toward the heart of the galaxy. The Council feared war, not because humans were angry, but because humans were calm. And the calm ones were always the most dangerous. Because they knew humans never move without a reason. Long ago, before the galaxy became calm and ordered, the Galactic Council discovered Earth. At first, they were curious. Earth was loud, bright, chaotic. Human cities glowed at night like burning stars. Their radios filled space with noise. Their wars were brutal and frequent. Their nations rose and fell in short cycles. The Council watched from far away. They expected humans to destroy themselves. But humans did not. Instead, they survived. They fought wars and learned from them. They faced disasters and rebuilt stronger cities. They lost millions and still moved forward. That was what frightened the Council. Not human violence. Human adaptation. Human technology advanced faster than predicted. Their machines became smaller, smarter, stronger. Their medicine improved quickly. Their space travel grew efficient with every failure. Humans did not fear mistakes, they studied them. A council science group made a quiet report. If humans reach interstellar travel, it warned, they will adapt to the galaxy faster than any known species. The council debated. Some argued humans should be guided, others suggested peaceful contact. But the majority feared one thing: loss of control. The council ruled the galaxy through order, through slow progress, through careful limits. No species was allowed to grow too fast. Humans were growing too fast. So the council made a decision. They would lie. The lie was simple at first. They labeled Earth as pre-industrial. They described humans as divided and unstable. They told the galaxy humans could barely reach their moon. Council records were edited. Human victories were erased. Human survival feats were removed. Human technological leaps were buried. Any alien ship that came near human space was redirected. Any signal received from Earth was blocked or rewritten. Any discussion about humans was quietly discouraged. The lie spread. Entire species grew up believing one thing: humans never left their planet. They were taught humans were primitive, loud, dangerous only to themselves, not worth contact, not worth attention. And for a time the lie worked. The galaxy expanded. Empires rose. Trade flourished. The council grew powerful. Their empire was built on silence, but humans did not stay silent. Without alien help, humans pushed outward. Their early probes were simple, fragile, and slow. Many failed. Many were lost. Humans recorded every failure. They learned. Their next probes lasted longer. Their engines improved. Their materials hardened. Their software adapted. Human probes reached the edge of their system, then beyond it. Then deeper into the dark. The council noticed and erased the data. Later, human ships followed, not massive fleets. Small, efficient craft. Designed to survive alone. The council blocked detection. Humans did not complain. They adjusted. Human fleets trained far from known routes. In deep space, in quiet systems. They practiced movement, coordination, and defense. No loud signals, no broadcasts, no warnings. Human AIs watched the galaxy grow. They mapped trade lanes. They studied council politics. They recorded military habits. All in silence, the council believed the lie still held, until now. Inside the Great Chamber, council members reviewed old archives. Files marked redacted. Sensors marked error. Entire decades missing. A council historian spoke with unease. Our empire is built on incomplete history. A military leader replied sharply. History does not matter. Control does. But even his voice lacked confidence. The new sensor data from human space matched the old erased records too closely. Too perfectly. A council member finally asked the question that hung heavy in the room. What if humans know? The words echoed. What if humans noticed the blocked signals? What if they realized no alien ever answered? What if they understood they were being hidden? No one answered, because deep inside, they all knew the truth. Humans always notice patterns. Humans always question silence. And humans never forgot betrayal. A council archivist stared at the star map. We didn't just lie to the galaxy, she said quietly. We lied to humans. The room felt colder. Outside the chamber windows, the stars remained calm, but the council now understood something terrible. The lie that built their empire was cracking, and when lies collapse, they do not fall quietly. Somewhere in human space, fleets continue to move, not in anger, not in panic, but with purpose, because humans had learned the truth long ago. They simply waited. And now the galaxy was finally ready to hear it. The Galactic Council did not want war. Not yet. They had ruled the galaxy for centuries through careful words and quiet control. Wars were expensive, unpredictable, dangerous, and humans were unknown, so the council chose caution. A vote was called. The great chamber filled with low voices, glowing displays, and uneasy movements. Council members argued softly. Some wanted force. Some wanted silence. In the end, caution won. A single message would be sent to Earth. Nothing threatening. Nothing emotional. Just authority. The message was short and cold. Remain in your system. This is not a threat. It was sent through official council channels, boosted through relays, and carried by ancient protocols designed to be impossible to ignore. The council waited. Minutes passed. No reply. That was normal, they told themselves. Humans were slow. Their systems were crude. More time passed. An hour. Still nothing. A council communication officer checked the logs. Message delivered, she said. Confirmed. The council waited longer. 2 hours. 4. Then an entire cycle passed. Still no reply. The chamber grew restless. Council worlds across the galaxy began to feel the tension. Traders delayed routes. Military fleets entered alert status. Civilian networks buzzed with rumors. Had the humans received the message? A senior counselor asked the question carefully. Do humans respond slowly? A science advisor answered, no. Humans respond quickly. Even to things they do not understand. That answer did not bring comfort. Another cycle passed. Still no reply. A military commander folded his arms. Perhaps they did not understand our authority, he said. Or perhaps he did not say they understood it too well. Then something changed. A junior signal officer spoke sharply. Counselors. Something is happening. The lights in the chamber dimmed slightly as more displays activated. Across the galaxy, human communication arrays were coming online, one by one. Then hundreds, then thousands. Long dormant human relays awakened. Old listening posts flared with power. Deep space nodes began broadcasting something. The council leaned forward. This is it, someone whispered. They're responding. The displays filled with activity, but no message appeared. No words, no threats, no demands. Only signal strength. Pure, controlled, intentional silence. Human arrays stayed active, watching, listening, waiting. The silence felt heavier than any declaration of war. A council signal expert stared at the data. They're not replying, she said slowly. They're confirming. Confirming what? A counselor asked. She swallowed. That we're watching them. The council suddenly understood. The message had not startled humans. It had validated their suspicions. Another officer spoke, voice tight. These arrays. They were already built. What does that mean? Someone asked. It means humans prepared for this long before we sent anything. The chamber filled with quiet fear. Human networks did not scramble in confusion. They activated with perfect coordination, like a system that had practiced this moment many times. Then came the next development. Council sensors across multiple sectors began reporting small disturbances. Not attacks. Not explosions. Just absences. A patrol ship failed to check in. A relay station went silent. A sensor buoy vanished. No wreckage. No energy spike. No trace. A military commander stepped closer to the map. These are not random, he said. They are controlled. The pattern formed slowly. The disappearances traced along trade routes, near military corridors, close to defensive networks. Someone whispered, they're mapping us. The commander shook his head. No, he said. They already mapped us. The truth hit the chamber like a slow wave of ice. Humans were not responding. They were moving. And they were doing it without noise, without threats, without warning. A counselor tried to regain control. Prepare a second message, she said. Stronger, clearer. The military commander stopped her. No, he said quietly. The room turned. Why? She demanded. He pointed at the map. Because they're not listening anymore. The human arrays continue to glow across the galaxy. Silent, active, watching. The council realized something terrifying. Human silence was not confusion, it was discipline. A kind the council had never faced before. One final report came in. A deep space sensor detected movement near the edge of council territory. Not entering, just waiting. The commander spoke again, softer this time. They're not talking, he said. Because they're already acting. The words settled heavily. The council had sent a message expecting submission. What they received instead was proof. Proof that humans had never been isolated. They had simply chosen not to speak. And now the galaxy held its breath, because when humans finally did speak, it would not be with words. The first human warship appeared without warning. There was no alarm, no border alert, no emergency broadcast. One moment, council space was calm. The next moment, a massive shape existed where nothing had been before. It was not at the edge of council territory. It was not near a warning zone. It was inside. Council sensors froze for a split second, unable to understand what they were seeing. Then more signals appeared. One ship, then 5, then dozens. Human warships emerged across multiple council systems at the same time, not randomly. Perfectly placed, above fleet yards, near defense hubs. Beside communication relays, the council panicked. Military alarms screamed across core worlds. Fleets scrambled. Commanders shouted orders that overlapped and contradicted each other. But the human ships did not fire. They did not launch fighters. They did not speak. Instead, beams of precise energy struck council systems. Defense grids went dark, weapons shut down. Navigation controls froze. Entire fleets lost power at once, drifting helplessly in space. No explosions, no debris, no loss of civilian life. Just silence. Human ships moved with calm precision. They adjusted position slowly, confidently, as if no one could stop them. Because no one could. A council admiral stared at the tactical display in disbelief. They're bypassing our shields, he said. Not breaking them. Ignoring them. Human technology did not fight council defenses. It stepped around them. Council fleets attempted to regroup. Orders were sent. Emergency protocols activated. Nothing worked. Human interference spread faster than any countermeasure. Communication lines collapsed. Long-range scanners failed. Even backup systems shut down as if they had never existed. A council general clenched his fists. They know exactly where everything is, he said. Then the truth struck him. They mapped us, he whispered. They mapped us while we ignored them. Across the galaxy, similar scenes unfolded. Council warships floated powerless. Defense platforms shut down without a single shot fired. Military academies lost power mid-training. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Council was blind. The galaxy watched. Neutral species froze their fleets. Traders shut down engines. Entire civilizations stared at their screens in fear and awe. Humans were not attacking. They were demonstrating control. Then, at last, human commanders spoke. Not through public channels. Not through threats. A single transmission appeared on council emergency frequencies. Clear, calm, human. This is not revenge, the voice said. This is correction. The words carried no anger. No pride, just certainty. The council listened in silence. The message continued. You erased our history. You hid our progress. You spoke for us without knowing us. Human ships continued their work as the message played. Council command structures were isolated. Military leadership networks were separated from civilian systems. No cities were harmed, only power, only control. The human voice spoke again. We did not respond before because there was no need. We are responding now because you crossed the line. A counselor shouted, Open fire! The order went nowhere. Their weapons were already gone. Human fleets did not advance further. They held position, close enough to be seen, far enough to show restraint. The message ended with one final line. You wanted us to stay quiet. We did. You should not have mistaken silence for weakness. The transmission ended. No celebration followed. No cheers, just stunned quiet. Across the galaxy, species began to understand something important. Humans could have destroyed the Council fleets. They did not. Humans could have taken worlds. They did not. They chose precision. They chose restraint. They chose to prove a point. The Council's greatest fear became reality, not human anger, but human control. A senior Council general lowered himself into his chair. We prepared for invasion, he said. We never prepared for judgment. Outside Council chambers, human warships held steady, silent, watching. The galaxy had believed humans were primitive. It had believed they were weak. Now it understood the truth. Humanity had never been behind. They had simply waited. And now, nothing in the galaxy would ever look at silence the same way again. The human ships did not move closer. They did not fire. They did something far more powerful. They shared the truth. Across the galaxy, communication systems lit up. Not just Council networks, but civilian channels, trade relays, research archives, and public broadcasts. Every world received the same data. Not a speech. Not a threat. Files. Records. Proof. At first, many systems rejected the transmission, believing it was a trap. But the data kept coming, mirrored across thousands of independent networks. It could not be stopped. The files opened one by one. Council orders marked confidential. Sensor logs marked deleted. Historical records marked false. Species across the galaxy watched in shock. The Council had lied. For centuries. They had erased human progress. They had hidden discoveries. They had blocked contact and rewritten history. But that was only the beginning. More files followed. Footage from distant systems showed human ships responding to distress calls long before any Council fleet arrived. A colony ship drifting without power saved by a human repair team that never identified themselves. A dying world facing atmospheric collapse stabilized by human technology, then quietly abandoned once the planet recovered. An extinction-level asteroid event diverted by human engines while the Council debated cost and risk. The humans never claimed credit. They never asked for thanks. They never announced their presence. They simply acted and vanished. On one world, an elderly alien scholar stared at the screen in silence. We thought the Council protected us, he whispered. It was humans, the files continued. Human A had monitored dangerous Council experiments. When tests risked destroying ecosystems, humans intervened in secret. They adjusted variables, corrected errors, prevented disasters. No one ever knew. Because humans believed survival mattered more than recognition. Across the galaxy, anger replaced fear. Species realized their understanding of history was a lie. Their education was false. Their trust had been abused. Council officials attempted to deny the files. It's fabricated, they said, but the evidence was too complete, too detailed, too consistent. Multiple species confirmed records matched their own hidden data. The Council's authority began to collapse, not with explosions, but with questions. Council members argued publicly. Some resigned. Others disappeared. Entire sectors withdrew from Council control. Not because humans ordered it, because truth demanded it. In the Great Council chamber, leaders sat in stunned silence. Their fleets were powerless. Their secrets were exposed. Their empire had nothing left to protect it. A human officer appeared on the main public channel. No armor. No voice. No symbol of dominance. Just a calm human face. You feared us ruling the galaxy, he said. We never wanted that. The galaxy listened. We only wanted honesty. We wanted open paths. We wanted truth instead of silence. He paused. You chose lies. We chose patience. Human ships remained still as he spoke. We did not break your worlds. We did not take your cities. We did not erase your history. Another pause. You did that to yourselves. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, species reacted in quiet reflection. Some worlds lowered Council flags. Some removed Council symbols from public buildings. Others simply sat in silence, realizing how close they had come to destruction saved by beings they had been taught to ignore. The Council collapsed, not by war, not by invasion, by truth. In many systems, human ships finally began to withdraw. They left behind open data access, open communication paths, Open history archives, nothing else. No control. No occupation. No demands. A council historian watched the final human fleet vanish from his system. They won, he said softly. A colleague shook her head. No, she replied. They proved they never wanted to. The galaxy would never forget this moment. Not the fear. Not the power. But the restraint. Humanity had shown something rare. Strength without cruelty. Power without conquest. Justice without revenge. And in that moment, the galaxy understood something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. If humans ever chose to rule, they would not need to fight. The human fleets began to withdraw. Slowly. Calmly. Without celebration. Across council space, massive human warships powered down their systems and turned away. One by one, they slipped back into deep space. No victory signals followed them. No banners were raised. They did not conquer. They did not occupy. They left nothing behind except silence. Council worlds watched in disbelief. Cities that had prepared for destruction remained untouched. Governments that expected control found none. Military leaders searched for traps that never came. There were no traps. Only restraint. In the great council chamber, the seats were half empty. Some members had resigned. Others had been removed by their own people. A few sat quietly, staring at the star map where human fleets had once stood. A final human transmission arrived. It was sent to every known world, not encrypted. Not hidden, not forced. Just open. The message was simple, no threats. No demands, no conditions. It read, silence is not ignorance. Distance is not weakness. And patience is not mercy. The message ended. Nothing followed. Across the galaxy, those words spread faster than any weapon ever could. Species that once ignored humans now studied them carefully. Worlds that once trusted the council began rewriting laws. Education systems changed. History records were corrected. Truth replaced comfort. In council space, new agreements formed. Power was no longer centralized. No single voice could erase another's history again. Humanity was invited to join galactic assemblies. They declined permanent control. They accepted equal standing, no throne, no crown, no command, just a seat. A human diplomat explained it simply. We do not want to rule, he said. We want to be heard. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy listened. Human ships returned to their territory. Their space became quiet again. But now the silence felt different. It was no longer ignored. It was respected. Other species began to notice something else. Human borders were open but guarded. Human systems welcomed visitors but watched carefully. Human fleets remained unseen but always present. The galaxy adjusted its behavior. No one tested human patience again. Not because of fear, because of understanding. In time, stories spread. Stories of a species that endured lies for centuries. A species that waited while others grew arrogant. A species that acted only when the truth was threatened. Historians would later debate the moment the council truly fell. Some said it was when the fleets lost power. Others said it was when the files were released. But many agreed on one thing. The council lost the moment they underestimated silence. On a quiet human world, far from politics and power, an old observer watched the stars. He remembered the years of isolation, the unanswered signals, the blocked paths. Humans had asked once to join the galaxy. When the galaxy refused, humans did not beg. They prepared, not for war, for survival, for truth. For the moment when lies could no longer hold, the galaxy learned a lesson that day. Not about weapons, not about fleets, not about strength, but about memory. Because humans remembered every erased record, every blocked message, every lie spoken in their absence. They did not forget. And they never would. Final HFY line. The council suppressed the truth for centuries. And learned too late that humans never forget.